Now, South Africa's Vodacom group is set to take a controlling 55% stake in Safaricom after signing a deal to buy a total of 8 billion shares from the government and UK's Vodafone group at a cost of $2.1 billion, or just about 272.4 billion Kenya shillings. But amid the imminent sale, questions are emerging over the government's decision to sell its stake in Safaricom and whether Kenyans are getting full value for one of their most prized national assets, with Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro warning that the transaction appears rushed and undervalued. NTV's David Mudoka reports.
Vodacom will now buy 6 billion shares amounting to a 15% stake from the National Treasury and 2 billion shares equaling 5% from Vodafone at a price of 34 shillings per share, with the deal expected to be concluded in the first quarter of 2026. The government will receive 204.3 billion shillings for its shares and a separate 40.2 billion shillings, representing an upfront payment of dividends that will accrue on the state's residual 20% stake in Safaricom. This will bring its total payout to 244.5 billion shillings. Vodafone, which is the ultimate parent firm of both Safaricom and Vodacom, will receive 68.1 billion shillings in the transactions that the South African multinational termed as part of simplification of ownership within the broader group.
Vodacom and Vodafone have been invested into Kenya for the last 25 years. And I think what really stands out is the public-private partnership that has been built, together with it being a listed company.
For the government, the sale of its 15% stake provides much-needed funds for budgetary support amid a heavy debt burden. The government has lined up divestitures from several state-owned enterprises, including Kenya Pipeline Company, as it seeks alternative sources of funds. On completion of the transaction, Vodacom will be the controlling shareholder with a 55% stake, followed by the government at 20% and public investors at 25%.
It is important to note, and I emphasize that this transaction has gained us a 23.6% premium on the 6-month volume weighted average price.
This is a prudent way for government to mobilize non-tax revenue while still maintaining an active, meaningful stake in a company that continues to be a key national asset.
But with the deal now in advanced stages, Kiharu MP Ndindi Nyoro has opposed it, arguing that the shares are being undervalued.
The government of Kenya is proposing to sell Safaricom PLC, the 15% stake, at 34 shillings. Kenyans need to know that Safaricom shares were trading at an average of 45 shillings in 2021, valuing Safaricom PLC at 1.8 trillion Kenya shillings in 2021. And of course, that is before Safaricom even invested in Ethiopia, an investment that is actually becoming a very good decision for Safaricom.
Nyoro has also questioned why the government is selling Safaricom as a single entity rather than separating it into its 3 main business arms, including telco services, towers, and financial services, a move he says could have significantly increased the company's value.
We must be vigilant. Otherwise, within a very short time, we are all going to regret as Kenyans, because we'll have nothing to hold on to. Everything will have been torn down in terms of sold for nothing, and you'll have no fallback position.
This is the second time the government is cashing in on its Safaricom ownership, having sold a 25% stake to public investors in 2008 through an initial public offering that raised 51 billion shillings. David Muthoka, NTV, Nairobi.